What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch in the Rube, our Friday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today, play the games we are playing, or bet the games you're going to win. Bet your own games. That would be my best advisement. Lots of great NFL stuff this weekend. Some good promotions when you sign up. And, of course, the national championship game on Monday. If your heart is with the Huskies, this would be a good time to download the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
One of my favorite Graham couches, though, is the one that is distracted at the beginning of the show. And is there everything okay?
Well,
are we all live or no?
We're live, but it's not showing up on the Spreaker thing that I tweet out. So our live listeners,
Gotcha.
I assume they're getting the show, but I don't see it.
It's because I didn't hit that button. Now try it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So were we not live?
We are on Facebook or YouTube. We're good now.
We're good.
Yeah. The people that listening the podcast version will miss the open, but I could probably fix that and
post
and actually post. We could actually fix something in real post now.
Well, I'll say that, but I'll also say since our sponsors may actually listen, this is our Friday show presented by.
Start it over?
No, we're good. Presented by our friends at Firekeepers. Oh, okay. Presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Again, download the app today. Bet the games we're betting or bet other games. Enjoy great promos. And, again, the national championship game. If your heart is with the Huskies, this might be a good time to download the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app and bet Washington on Monday. How you doing, brother?
Maybe you don't have to because you have a futures bet, right? Is that why you're excited? You know what you're going to pick with Harry, right? And Harry's going to pick Michigan.
Harry is definitely going to pick Michigan.
Has to.
So yeah, there's no question about that. That's Harry's way. What are the odds? We're going to have Harry on today. By the way, we're going to do your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. We're going to talk some MSU basketball first here. But what are the odds you think that Harry picks Michigan? If you had to take a number.
Plus minus, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's minus 650, I would think. But he did pick against Michigan. I don't remember what game, but it was very odd. He broke his streak on some weird game. So who knows with Harry?
Yeah.
I look forward to it, though.
Yeah. Now, I am not, I've got a question coming up about that from Dominic, so I'll save that for what I'm going to get into with my my futures bet on Washington.
Okay.
I am excited.
I thought it was about Steven Izzo should have scored last night.
Man,
that three left that launched in the air and it just hung there, baby. I was like, oh, come on.
The guy looks like he's Steph Curry. You should have seen Tom Izzo's reaction to him flying down and taking that shot.
Part.
Yeah,
why not? Fuck it.
I think Steven Izzo is a martyr, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Tom Izzo, in the ebbs and flows of a season, cannot be happy with his team for too long. You can just tell it coming. Like, he is going to be upset with a practice soon. He'll be upset with the performance even when they play well. When they're playing really well for too long, it doesn't work for Tom Izzo.
And we said, would somebody please guard somebody?
So what Steven Izzo did was he gave Tom Izzo somebody to be upset with. I'm going to do this for the team. I'm going to come down like a jackass and take a Steph Curry three. But you know what? If he had made that three, legend.
Why is he a jackass for pulling that, though, dude? It's at the end of the game.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, you have to. Come on, he's got to get a bucket here.
That's the thing. I think everybody
take it to the hoop or something. I don't know.
You've got the alumni Izzo and all that, and it was at the game, so it's a I don't know. It would have been an epic crowd if he had made it. The other thing is, he can feel the clock. This is his last season. He wants to get a bucket before the end. How many more games are you going to have where your team's up 30 in the final minute in Big Ten play? You may, especially at home. So you've got 8 home games after this, 8 times. And some of those games are against really good teams where you're not going to be in the game. So tops, Steven Izzo is going to have maybe 4 more chances at a bucket.
And your dad's rooting against you pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Steven. Anytime you touch the ball, heave it.
The thing is, what Steven Izzo needs
Throw
to
it up
do, you know, all these guys who come in with him, they're on the scout teams. They have time on their hands to devise things up. Not that the scout team's sitting around. I mean, they have to come up with the entire team, other teams' defense and offense and implement it. But at some point, design a play for him. I mean, Steven Izzo at the Division I level is rarely going to create a shot. We saw that on the second attempt where he got blocked in the smithereens. He is rarely going to create a shot that
I think Izzo would rather retire than run a play for his kid.
No, but hold on. Izzo doesn't have to run the play. Nick Sanders, Davis Smith, these are the guys.
Just going to have to be a collab.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody else is going to have to come up with a backdoor cut, something that he'll get blocked at the rim. It can't be that. It's got to be.
We have to talk to Firekeeper. We have to talk to the guys at the sports book at Firekeepers to see if they can give us, or Trevor Darnell that you use, that maybe he can give us what a line would be for Steven Izzo. Does he have to hit a bucket, or is it just a point,
it's a
free throw?
Great prop bet. Will Steven Izzo score this season?
Yes.
It would be an incredible prop bet. It was another good performance by Michigan State last night. Again, they're playing well, but the couple things. One, Penn State is the perfect opponent because they're not that good. They're not horrible either. They've had some competitive games. The problem is they're not built for upsets like that. They don't have the shooters or the stoppers, the things that it takes to pull an upset. Like Indiana State has those guys. Indiana State's a better team than Penn State, but they also have shooters. Like if you are going to beat Michigan State, you have to have shooters. And Penn State has good guards who are kind of drivers, and they don't have enough scores in the post, and they don't have enough stoppers. And so you're never going to win that game in Breslin Center. Just not gonna, they could play 10 times. I bet once they come within single digits, maybe twice. And so it was a good matchup for Michigan State. But MSU is still playing well. They're focused. Like Malik Hall, this is 2 straight games now where I think he has been at another level in terms of his consistency, his physicality. He had a rebound against Indiana State where the guy went up and they just collided, and Hall took it away, and it was like the first rebound of the game, and the guy's eyes were wide open. It was like, holy crap, this is a different type of physicality. Hall was aggressive. He made them feel him in the way he attacked the post last night. He had 24 points. I think Trey Holloman is playing really well. And I talked to him last night after the game. I'm going to do a feature on him later. I know people are asking about that possibility. But he going back and forth between the point and the two guard and feeling out, those two different positions. He looks like he's in a really good groove now. I think that took him a game or two even. Jeremy Fears is, I guess 1 game. But that's something he's pretty much primarily been at the 2, a little bit of 1. But now he's going to be the backup point guard. And we saw for the first time a situation where A.J. Hoggard got in foul trouble. And it was an inconsequential foul trouble because all it did was cost A.J. Hoggard about 10 assists the way that first half was going. But all of a sudden, Holloman had to play extended minutes at the point. And I thought he did it really well. I thought he created his own shot well. I thought Jaden Akins created his own couple 3-pointers off the dribble, which I think for him is really important. Number 1, it's what the NBA wants to see. Number 2, it's helpful for Michigan State. But number 3, it's really helpful for Jaden Akins' psyche because he knows what the NBA wants from him. He's a long way from being an NBA-ready player, I think, right now. Not a long, long way, but he's a ways from it. And when he does things that the NBA wants, I think it helps improve his confidence. He feels like he's on the right track. And we saw a couple step-back type threes and shots off the dribble, and I think that's what when he's just a catch-and-shoot guy, I think that bugs him. And so those are all big things last night. But, there's a reason I didn't put teams that didn't play a true road game in my old AP Top 25 ballot. The truth is on the road a lot, and we're going to find out if this travels. They played 5 terrific games in a row, and none of them they've either been at Breslin or in front of a Michigan State home crowd. And so now they go to Northwestern, which will be a little bit of a split crowd. That's not the worst place to play. And then they get Illinois on the road. So the next 2 weeks or the next 2 games, we find out.
Should the old Izzone come back more often? Because I know Steve Beckman was tweeting out. I'm sure we'll get into it, but the bet that they always cover the spread or alternate spread or whatever you can do. I love the smack talking during the game that Penn State tried talking a little smack. Tyson Walker Hogarth, they were getting into it because I love that kind of basketball, right? When you can do it respectfully, it's just guys playing hoops. It's all it matters. You're not going to get into some physical shit. But I love the way they got to the basket, especially Trey Holloman, the way he got to the basket too, and hopefully that can carry over to Northwestern. But I mean, all in all, what can you say about that win?
Yeah, I mean,
that's the team. That's the team right there. That's fun to watch that kind of basketball, Graham. That's all we ask for.
To your first point, the Alumni Zone, I think they've covered 8 of the last 9 spreads by an average of about 10 points a game. Like there is a different. Now they've also tend to play Penn State or Nebraska or somebody there at home.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would
still a Big Ten team,
and they played it. They've done the Alumni Zone over spring break and before Christmas and other times. I would try to do it over spring break again and bring them back for a March game that might, maybe there's a Big Ten title on the line or something like that. Now, part of the reason it works is they get one shot at it. They're fired up. They're maybe not completely sober. They come from quite a distance, some of these people, to have this experience that they had in college and be the student section. And so if you do it too many times, it loses its luster.
It will, yeah.
But,
especially if you lose, then you're like, oh, boy.
But you could every year just say, fuck it, the Purdue game. That's it. Whoever the best team is, that's going to be the Alumni Zone. And,
see how lucky they are.
Sorry for the kids now. I would give the kids an option. If they wanted to have the biggest game or the Alumni Zone game, I would say for the game, the biggest game, if it's Purdue, they don't actually play Purdue at home this year. It's just at Purdue. But whoever they were playing that they viewed as the game that was most consequential that they should have the Alumni Zone there for, I would say you can have the game instead of the Alumni Zone, but you have to put your phones in a bag when you come in the place. You cannot be the Gen Zer that you are.
No shot.
And but we will give you the biggest game. But you've got to be fully present. Co-present.
Put your phones. You have to run the bags. Like you have to hand them out and make sure you gather them again.
That problem is getting the right phone back to the right person.
Right.
Something would go horrible. Yeah.
Sounds easier said than done, I think.
In the zone,
I went to a Jack White concert. I had a great time putting my phone away. I had no issue with it.
Well, I think the kids would enjoy it. Once they got through the first 5 minutes of withdrawal and were shaking and stuff, I think they would find that life is actually better. When I have days where I put my phone away for an extended period of time, I put it in the other room so I can work and focus, my day is better. Twitter does not improve your life. It is just a drug. Social media is just a drug that gives you these little highs, these little bursts, but it does not improve your life. The Izzone would be happier, more well-adjusted people if they did not have their phones during the game. If all of us would. So maybe that's a discussion I can have, or an opinion I can write. I do have a column.
Fire it out on Twitter again.
Yeah, that's what I'll. I probably will. I'll probably have a glass of whiskey at some point. Like, fuck it, here we go. It'll be a day that the Izzone is uninspiring, and I will. We'll
all know it. Graham's drinking sipping a little whiskey.
We are going to get into more of your or more MSU basketball when we get into your groovy donut Twitter questions momentarily. But first up, we are going to talk to Harry Gagnon here in a moment and pick the games, the national championship, the NFL games this weekend. I have a soccer bet that I love for you as well. And a reminder, if you are looking for the sportsbook in-house experience, like you want to go watch NFL football and feel like what it's like in Vegas and have a really cool sportsbook experience, just drive on down to Firekeepers off I-94 in Battle Creek, Dacey's Taproom and Sportsbook. Great food, great environment, great TV setup. You can bet the games and watch them right there. Or, of course, download the app. Have it at your fingertips. Swing on by to Front 43 or Midtown Brewing Company and enjoy that experience on your phone. It is time now to pick the games presented by Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook Cap with our good friend from The Ringer and Against All Odds with Cousin Sal, the great Harry Gagnon. Harry, how you doing, brother?
Great, guys. What's happening? Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thanks for joining us. So we have a bet going, Harry, right now.
Okay.
Between Jason and I, we're trying to figure out the odds we would put on whether you are going to pick Michigan to beat Washington, and the odds it's like minus 900 to be honest at this point. But
a classic Harry parlay.
Yeah. So anyway,
minus 900.
Well, before we get to the NFL games, let's start with the national championship game on Monday night.
Okay.
And the games that the game that I think in this area with Michigan State fans especially, there is a lot on the line. I mean, I don't think a lot of people would sell their first child not to have to deal with a Michigan fan who is a national champion. Having said that, I don't know if they're going to be able to avoid it. I like Washington plus 4.5 to me is, and I've seen it at plus 5. It's gone back and forth. I think it's 4.5 right now on the Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app. Is still too many points for a Washington team that's been in a number of close games, and Penix has been great late in those games. And it's not that I don't think Michigan has some advantages here and there. I just think 4.5 for Washington, that's been an underdog and keeps not only covering the spread but winning outright, is just too much. I think outright, I've got a futures ticket on Washington, so I'm hopeful there, but that's coloring my perception. But for the spread, I like Washington here. Jason, where are you?
I also have a futures bet, and that's my friendship with my friend Jordan, who is a diehard Michigan fan. No, I want Penix to win this game. I need Penix to win this game, and you're going to give me 4 and a hook. I have to take it. What do you got here?
Well, guys, before the season started, when we gave out our preseason bets in college football, I'm sorry, everyone out there in Spartan land, but I'm taking Michigan. I gave out Michigan to start the season out against all odds at 8-1 to win the national championship. So even though I don't love laying 4.5 here, I'm going to do it because I took Michigan. Look, look, in that game against Bama, Michigan's special teams was extremely sloppy. It was awful. Almost cost them the game, really. But I expect a much better game all around from the Wolverines. McCarthy and Corum are clutch. Corum, remember, didn't play in the previous 2 playoff games because of injuries, making the most of it now. I think luck kind of runs out for Washington. The Huskies' last 5 wins have been 1-score games. Michigan's D, I think, shuts down the wide receiving core of Washington, makes things very difficult for Michael Penix Jr. I got Michigan winning this one 30-20. Third time's a charm for Harbaugh in the playoffs. 30-20 Wolverines.
I could see it. I just, if that happens, this will be a depressed show for people on Tuesday when we come back. I think if Michigan can run the ball. Washington is not a good run defense, and if Michigan can run the ball like Texas ran the ball, and Michigan will just keep running it if they have that sort of success, then that's how you keep Penix off the field, and that's how you beat this team. And so I can see that scenario as well. But my money is on Michael Penix, and I like the 4.5. All right, let's go to some NFL games here. Really interesting week, and it's an interesting week betting-wise, and I think there are some opportunities because you have this weird week where there are some games with a lot on the line, and then there's games with nothing on the line, and then there's games where what's on the line could change mid-game or change later. I mean, so for example, we'll get to that game. First, let's sort of go in order here. Texans -1 at Colts Saturday night. Potentially a lot on the line, depending on what happens in the Jaguars game the next day. Jaguars is the next day, right? I believe it is a Sunday game. I should double check that.
You want some off?
Give me some off. Sorry. Yeah. Jaguars Titans is the next day. So there's a lot on the line at the time they're playing the game. That's why I like the Colts are, I think, probably better than the Texans. Texans are at home. I've had a lot of luck with the Texans this year, though, in betting them. I am going to take the Colts here. This line has moved. They're now home underdogs. Give me the Colts at home, playing for a playoff berth. Jason, where are you?
I have no idea, really. Texans, Colts, man. It's a fade for me, but for the purpose of this, give me the Texans. What do you like here?
You know what? I'm going to take the Colts. The Colts are like the redheaded stepchild guys in the NFL. No one's pegged them for the playoffs or even to be in contention this season when the season started. But somehow, even through a lot of injuries, they're 6-2 straight up in the last 8. Minshew's 3-1 in his last 4 games versus AFC South squads. Texans pass rush is weak, 25th versus the pass. In the last 4 weeks, whoever's been quarterbacking guys for the Texans, 91, 229, 149, 213 in terms of passing yards. Houston's had a tremendous season, no doubt about it. But I'm going to ride with Jonathan Taylor and continue with Minshew Mania.
All right, Vikings at Lions. All right, this is a 1 o'clock game, and at the time, I'm glad it's a 1 o'clock game because if it was a 4:30 game, it would be opposite, Eagles, Cowboys, and there would be Cowboys, Commanders, and Eagles, Giants, and then I think the Lions would be peeking over the shoulder a little bit. I think there's less likely a chance they'd win this game. I think they will play hard after last week. You never know what can happen later. It would be a real shame to rest guys and then have the Cowboys somehow lose or the Eagles lose, and all of a sudden you would have had the 2 seed and you blew it. So I don't. This line doesn't scare me at 3.5. I think the Vikings have got problems at quarterback. We saw this game not that long ago, and the Lions weren't that promising. But at home, I'll take the 3.5 with the Lions. Jason, where are you?
Yeah, especially with O'Connell. Do you really? I mean, is Nick Mullins going to play?
I don't know if that's the decision.
He had 400 yards and
awful.
4 interceptions, but you bench the guy? I don't know. I just don't trust O'Connell if you're going to take the Viking side. Of course, I'm taking the Lions. And I think that they want it. They're going to want that more, right? The 2 seed, that's an easy pathway into the Super Bowl right there. You got to get that 2 seed.
And you want momentum.
Yes.
You want to feel like you're having a great year. You're going to be raising a banner. You just raised a banner. You don't want to have a 2-game losing streak going into a playoff game.
We say that, but if Goff gets hurt, we're going to on Monday shit on everybody for playing Goff. But anyway, give me the Lions. What do you got here?
I'm going to take the Lions too, and I'm just curious, what you guys thought, because by the way, that game not going over against Dallas cost me a chunk. I had a couple big parlays going. I think it totaled like $1,500. I didn't win because that didn't go over. But aside from that, I mean,
there is no aside from that, Harry. That's not good.
I know. There is no aside from that. But I mean, the way that game ended. I mean, I by the way, when Graham swears on the show, I just turn my head and I start dying laughing when he swears. So I've usually refrained from trying to swear on the show just because. But I gotta say that whole 2-point conversion thing was complete horseshit. I just gotta say it.
Whoa,
it was complete horseshit.
Yeah.
I know.
Earmuffs.
Just that was just insane. Knowing that, not that I could win anymore, but I just wanted Detroit to win. But you know what? They may have lost the battle, but I think Detroit's going to win the war down the road in the playoffs. I mean, that was insane what went on there. But I think, if they somehow match up against Dallas again, I think they beat Dallas. They'll remember this. And I think it's a good thing maybe that they didn't win that game and the way it went down. Give me Detroit to roll and then roll in the playoffs as well.
Can someone cover CeeDee Lamb the next time we play them, though? That's all I ask. Someone? Not Sutton? Anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, needing that over like I did, and Lamb then fumbling through the end zone. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, no.
I knew I was dead.
Yep.
Yeah, no. That whole game. I mean, there are going to be 2 rule changes that come out of that game: the fumble through the end zone and the way you report. And I thought that Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce in their podcast. Jason, is it Jason Kelce?
Taylor Swift.
And Jason Kelce, or we'll just call him Todd. They had some really good points on their podcast today. I mean, the NFL screwed the Lions. They did. But the best thing the Lions can do is show their character by not handling it the way I would handle it. Like, I would sit down, cross-legged at the 50-yard line and refuse to play the game, and that's why I can't coach or be in these situations.
Let me ask you guys, just curious, would you guys, because I gave out also on Against All Odds before the season, I gave Campbell out at 10-1 for Coach of the Year. You think he's Coach of the Year still?
I don't think he's going to win it. But I'll tell you, I mean, there are other coaches who are probably more in line, and part of it has to do with that last year at the end of the year they were really good. So this was like a natural trajectory.
Yeah, but they didn't make the playoffs.
You're not going to say it was expected, but still you expected a nice season out of Detroit. Right?
Yeah, they weren't like a 4-12 season last year.
Well, look, so what? They went 9-7, but they had to win all of those games. They still didn't make the playoffs.
I'm not saying he's not deserving. I'm just saying the way this award works, it doesn't always go to the guy who did the best coaching job. Kyle Shanahan may be the best coach in the NFL this year, but everybody thinks he's got a loaded squad, so you don't get to be the coach of the year. That's not the way the award works. The award works to who has the worst shit and turn it into something.
Yeah, it's not most improved coach, I guess.
Yeah. That's good. All right, Bears-Packers. Really interesting game. I think there's a lot on the line for both teams in a sense. The Packers obviously need to win to make the playoffs. The Bears have a decision at quarterback to make, and Justin Fields has been really, really good. And when I talk to the Bears fans in my life, they want Justin Fields back. They don't like the idea of moving on from him. They think they've got their guy. I think there's some salary stuff where, you know how I feel about playing on a rookie quarterback contract and restarting the clock. And you could get something for Fields. That said, you could get a lot else around him, and they might be pretty close. I don't know what the play is, but if he goes in +3 and beats the Packers, knocks them from the playoffs, and plays well, I do think that's something else to consider. I like the Bears here. I like the way they're playing. Getting 3, I'll take it. Jason, where are you?
Do I owe Matt Eberflus an apology? I mean, is he actually a decent coach? I don't know, boys. I really like this game. The Bears getting 3 at Green Bay. What do you got here?
Yeah, I do too. I mean, look, last year it was Detroit that went into Green Bay and knocked Green Bay out of the playoffs in Lambeau in the last week of the season. I think it's going to be Chicago this year as well. I mean, Chicago comes into this game, look, the 4-1 in the last 5. They've scored 26 or more points in 4 of the last 6. When's the last time the Bears, the Chicago Bears, guys, I said this on Against All Odds, when is the last time the Bears could say, and I should have looked it up because I'm sure it's been a long, long time, that they've had a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver in the same game in back-to-back weeks? I don't know.
Yeah.
06?
Lovie Smith?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
Jason may not have been born yet. I don't know.
All right, the late games. This is where it gets interesting, and this is where I think there's some tremendous value coming up. The Cowboys are -13 at the Commanders. I may or may not have them in a 13-point teaser, and those often lose 14. But Cowboys -13 at the Commanders. Cowboys need to win and to lock up the 2 seed. Cowboys are not the same team away from home. They're better than the Commanders. They ought to win this game. 13, though, for me, I don't think the Commanders have quit. 13 in a rivalry game is too many points here. Jason, where are you?
Who's quarterbacking for the whatever they're called?
I have no
Commanders? Is it Sam Howell, Harry? Who's QB?
Yeah, Howell's back in again, right?
Oh, shit.
Howell's back in again, I think.
If we don't know, then give me the boys. Give me the Cowboys, even though they're ass, but give me the Cowboys. What you got, Harry?
I agree with you, Jay. I'm going to take the Cowboys. So, look, bottom line is they win the division, and they own bad teams, and they already blew out Washington on Thanksgiving. I think they do it again.
All right, the next game is the best gambling opportunity of the week on the money line, and I think, and to have it go the way we want it, we want what you just said about the Cowboys game. We want the Cowboys to blow out the Commanders. Eagles are -5 at the Giants, simultaneous with the Cowboys at the Commanders. If the Cowboys win, that game means nothing to the Eagles. And so, to me, if the Cowboys are in full control, and Sirianni's even talked about this, he may rest some guys. And the Giants are +5 in a game at home dogs. I'm sorry, like that to me is a tremendous opportunity to sprinkle on the money line and potentially get the Giants playing against Eagles backups in the second half, an Eagles team that knows they're probably not playing for anything. The Giants just played the Rams really tough, and the Rams had been, on fire. Giants at home. I love this line, especially on the money line, but I like it on the Giants right here, and it's and more so if the Cowboys take control against the Commanders. Jason, where are you?
Jesus, what a preview. I really like Tyrod Taylor. I just don't trust Brian Daboll. So give me the Eagles. Give them the points. What do you got here?
Yeah, I'm still gonna lean a little bit towards the Giants. I don't love this. I just don't. I mean, the Eagles have been just, very fortunate at the beginning of the season. Some of those games they pulled out because they could barely be making the playoffs right now if a couple of those losses, those games went the other way towards losses. But Giants have been in these games late in the season. They're still playing with some fire. Should have beat the Rams. Definitely should have beat the Rams. Blew that. After that big play, blew that with 30 seconds. Time management and clock management was awful down the stretch. Should have pulled that game out, didn't. But playing tough, I'm going to take the Giants for the points.
All right, last game here. Bills -3 at the Dolphins Sunday night. Nobody around here will see it because it's opposite Michigan State at Northwestern basketball, so it's a tree in a forest. But there will be a betting line for it, so you can bet it. I know. There seems to be a lot of recency bias with this line. The Bills are playing well, but they're not dominant. It's in Miami. Everybody's shitting on the Dolphins like they're just no good anymore. Home dogs, man. And I'm not saying Buffalo's too immature and they're going to go party in South Beach or anything like that. But give me Miami +3 at home, and everybody's shitting on them. We know how the NFL goes 1 week to the next. It's reactionary. I'm on the Dolphins here, Jason.
Yeah, and it's crazy to give points to a team with that offense, but is Waddle going to play? The Dolphins' D is complete ass.
It's not good.
And I think Josh Allen is going to carve them up. And I just think with 3, I love this bet. Give me the Bills all day. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, I'm on the Bills, too. Just hope McDermott doesn't blow this somehow. I mean, you wouldn't think it, but Josh Allen, 15 rushing touchdowns this year. It's been fantastic. Yeah, the Bills haven't been great lately, but they still, played the best game of the year this year against Miami at home. They beat them 48-20. Then their history's on the Bills side, too. They're 10-1 straight up in the last 11 versus Miami. Best team Miami beat was Dallas, and they probably should have lost that game. Mostert's been banged up. Jay, you mentioned probably Waddle out again. Dolphins haven't won the East since 2008. Bills win 4 in a row here. I think they've won 4 in a row. They're 5-1 in the last 6, like I said, and they should have probably beat Philly. Their loss. I think they win, they cover, and they win the East for the 4th straight year. 31-23, Buffalo.
31-23. Okay, yeah. And is there anything else in the NFL you really like this weekend, Harry?
You know what? How about this? I'm going to give you and this is my Sharp Tank picking on Against All Odds. I really like, Graham, I know you love teasers. How about this? 3-team, 10-point teaser. Sal picks one of our picks. He actually, Jay, believe it or not, he picked my pick this week. 10-point, 3-team teaser. I mentioned the Colts. Give me that up to 11.5. Again, I mentioned they're 6-2 in the last 8. Indy getting double digits here in a division game. I'm going to take the Colts plus 11.5. I'm going to take the Steelers from a 3.5-point favorite to a plus 6.5 underdog at Baltimore on Saturday. No need for Baltimore to play any starters. Lamar, 5 touchdowns last week, locked him up for the MVP. Harris had a big game last week. It's probably his best game of the season against Seattle at 122 yards. Rudolph has his offense actually looking pretty good. Need to win to stay alive. Give me the Steelers plus 6.5 against Baltimore when Baltimore's already locked up the 1 seed. And give me the Patriots plus 8.5 from minus 1.5 to plus 8.5 on a 10-point tease against the Jets. No way the Pats, if this is Belichick's last game in New England, tank versus the Jets, a team he has flat out dominated over the years. They've beaten them 15 times in a row. Give me New England plus the 8.5 at home against the Jets.
Oh, I love this tease. I'm all in. I'm all in, Harry. I'm all in. That I'll empty my mother's.
Good, right? It looks really good.
No, it. I'll head on.
By the way, New England in the last 8 games, they've been playing tough down the stretch. Last 8 games, they've lost by more than 8 points just once. That was by 10 to Kansas City.
If they had a quarterback, they'd be a playoff team. They're not bad. They just don't have the quarterback. Or
you don't like Bailey Zappi?
It does not work. I liked him at Western Kentucky. Jason, you got anything particular? Anything else you like this weekend?
I'm with Harry on the Patriots. I was going to do a little money line, the Patriots money line, Bears money line, and then I was going to throw the Lions money line in there.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I have Giants. I've got a parlay with underdog money lines with the Giants and Bears, especially. I like those quite a bit. I also have. I've got this horrible futures bet for the Tampa Bay Bucks not to make the playoffs, so I'm hedging the hell out of that right now. It's just it's a disaster. The game, the line I want to give everybody that I love here is in the FA Cup on Saturday morning. So if you are up for a 7:45 a.m. Eastern time start, and you listen to this podcast before then, Newcastle United is at Sunderland. And this is a rivalry game, and look, Newcastle United's all banged up. They don't need to be in the FA Cup. They need to get out of this competition, so they're just playing 1 match a week. Sunderland is a rival, but rivals home a good championship, the next division down team in 6th place in the championship table, plus 328 at home on the money line. Sunderland plus 328 at home in the FA Cup against Newcastle. I love this line. I'm all over it. You could lose it, but there's great value in plus 328. I don't think Newcastle wants to be in this competition. I think Sunderland will view this as a really big game. Newcastle's banged up. Give me Sunderland plus 328, 7:45 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday morning in the FA Cup. So that is my pick for everybody. The rest of the Premier
Wait,
League.
Can you say that? Say that again. I missed it.
Yeah,
I gotta play it. I gotta play it, Graham. I gotta play it.
I think so. No, Jason had his food delivery show up in the middle of that bet, and so he just timed it for the soccer bet perfectly.
I don't know if I wasn't at Graham's wedding, but I don't know if Graham's vows sounded better than that. That was fantastic.
They did not. I left out sickness and health because I'm a germaphobe. So, like, when my wife gets sick, I'm like, that was not in our vows. I don't know what to tell you.
But nothing will beat Harry doing one of his bits or with a video thing for Twitter in the middle of his vows. That was impressive.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I gave out a loser. At minus 200, gave out a loser.
You know, I was always wondering when you did that, Harry, like if I did that when Teresa and I got married, if her dad would have just strangled me right then and there. That would have been a good test for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. I got to do a video real quick.
That's when you know you got a good one, Harry.
Yeah.
That is for sure. Harry, you are a beautiful man. Look forward to talking some NFL playoffs with you next week.
Sounds great, guys. Have a good weekend. Let's hit something, boys.
That is the great Harry Gagnon from Against All Odds with Cousin Sal and The Ringer. That is what we're picking this week, presented by Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. We will take a really quick break. We'll come back and answer your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. Couch in the Rube, presented by Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app.
Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen, Bar, or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Rube, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. It is time now to dig into your Twitter questions presented by Groovy Donuts. By the way, Groovy Donuts closed this week. This is like the week of the year they're closed because you're lying to yourself, so they have to close. What happens is New Year's resolutions mean it's like the slowest week of the year at Groovy Donuts. Everybody's like, I'm not going to eat donuts in 2024. And next week, you'll be back. So think about what you want as a donut next week. Forgive yourself and find a new resolution besides giving up donuts, which is a dumb
You don't have to be like
resolution.
Graham and eat a dozen. You can still have one.
Start with a really good.
Have a cheat day.
Yeah, right. So anyway, go to groovydonuts.com, place your order today, and of course, be prepared to swing on by 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday, again, beginning next week. All right, Jason, you ready to dig into these?
Yeah, man. Are we Dominic and Ken Chu first?
We're Dominic and Chen. No Eric Schultz today. I don't know what happened.
Is he all right?
Yeah, I hope so. We'll send out an APB.
Both of these guys. Will Jeremy Fears qualify for any type of medical red shirt and retain eligibility for this year? And Jason, when Graham stammers and says, that is a good question, I'll find out, but never actually does, will you remind me to give him shit? That was Ken Chu?
That was both. Ken Chu was more about Ken Chu is just about the Fears medical red shirt. I do tend to do that. I need to have like a file.
I need to find out.
I need a file where I write this stuff down. The way it works, is I understand, and then maybe they can apply for something with the medical red shirt, is it's 30% of the season. Now, I don't know if that's just regular season, but if it's postseason, he played in 12 games, which means Michigan State would have to play 40 games. That's getting to the Big Ten tournament championship and then getting to the NCAA tournament final. So if they get to both championship games, they will play 40 games. And under the rules that I see, Jeremy Fears would then technically qualify for a red shirt.
I have a new rule.
What's that?
If you get shot and it's not your fault, you get a red shirt year. You're out 5 weeks because a bullet was in your bone. I think that common sense says give the kid an extra year.
The way I would see this, I've not asked about this because I think the math is against him. However, so he should be back and fine to go next year, and I don't think he's a guy who's intending on spending 5 years in college. But say his career doesn't go as he wants to, or he wants to be at MSU, and by the way NIL stuff is, maybe that's for a smaller guard the better financial decision toward the end. He wants to do a 5th year. I would guess they could apply for one and like a medical thing, but you see what's going on with his career, and you apply for it at the end, and he might be able to get another year. That would be my best guess. But under the rule, as I understand it, the 30% rule, he has played too many games unless they play the maximum games allowable.
Dominic next. Graham, you're going to hedge on the John U. Bacon's like a Verlinden Elementary punk ass. Let me read that again. Graham, you going to hedge on the John U. Bacon's like a Verlinden Elementary punk ass, or are you going to ride out Washington with me like an Otto middle school gangster?
I love this. I just love the childhood references.
I figured you would, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this alone has made me want to hedge less and just live the Washington bet. I have already hedged slightly. It's not much. It's not much. It's like, I'm not going to win much, but it's just enough to like tell myself that, hey, you got a little something.
Jesus.
By far, I want Washington to win based on the bet I have. It's not even
your
close.
game, like Christmas, the way you guys do it and the way you gamble, it's just like you squeeze every last dollar and then you win $13 and celebrate.
No.
So you're squeezing every inch of this bet or what?
The bet is actually 50 to win 950.
Okay.
And I think I've hedged 100.
Oh.
So I still won 850.
Why announce that then?
Why?
Could have got away with it not knowing. I mean, why? You're hedging $100?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. It just makes me feel better if they, I
love that you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but yeah.
Right.
Hedged $100. Dominic, do you ever think I'll actually stick to 2 questions, Mr. All Caps?
I do not. Dominic.
You might want to not do the all caps.
I
just say, yeah.
See, here's the thing.
Narrow it down to 2. Then
all caps actually works, and I think eventually I won't have to do it because people get used to me asking for different things. But if people don't see all caps, they assume it's because for a long time I basically tweet out the same exact thing, and so people are used to that. They don't even read it, and without the all caps, they may not be.
You tweet out the same thing?
Well, roughly. I mean, I change what the topics are, but the language.
How many exclamation points?
0.
Oh. Steve Beckman, which team was closer to losing their college football playoff semifinal game, Michigan or Washington?
I mean,
Michigan?
Both. Yeah, I would say Michigan. I would say Michigan was
a roll of the ball into the end zone there.
Yeah, Michigan was less in control. And when you see the breakdown of the final play, which everybody's mocking Alabama for, it was actually Michigan well blown up because otherwise,
it was terrible.
But if it didn't block correctly, he would have walked into the end zone.
Yeah.
And So it wasn't as bad as you think.
But why not run an option? That way you have, if that happens, then you have at least a bailout, chuck it behind you play.
Yeah, because you don't have a good quarterback.
Oh.
That's the problem.
That's a problem.
That's an issue. And you know that 3 people voted for him for the Heisman Trophy?
Who?
Or in their top 3, or at least 3.
Larry
50 people voted in the top 3. 50 people voted in the top. You talk about the reason to take away the Heisman ballot from media folks. If you had Jalen Milroe in your top 3 for the Heisman, I mean, Jalen Milroe is Juice Williams with wheels. You blitz 11 and you make him make a decision. It ain't going to fucking go well for him. Like, it's just not, like, I'm sorry. That is not a Heisman contender. And if you think it is, you should not be voting. And most of us shouldn't be voting. I've written that column. But I'm just saying, like, holy crap. That is absolutely ridiculous. And, again, takes away from the award, which...
Do we have any names who voted for him?
I don't know if people put them out there. I just know 50 people 50 people that I would say it's Michigan. Washington, although it was pretty dicey there at the end, too.
Steve, which team will be more satisfied with their regular season when it's over? MSU hockey, MSU men's basketball, or MSU women's basketball? P.S. Always sprinkle on the alternative line before an Izzone alumni game.
Yeah, I've got to give Steve Beckman a lot of credit on sort of doing the research on the against the spread with the Izzone alumni games, and I put it in the tip-off to try and give people a heads up because I know people, especially Dominic, hate that when you – and I saw – oh, God, I fucking saw some other media person I like. Oh, it's a guy I like, too. Steve Greenberg out of St. Louis, who also works for the Sun-Times. He tweeted something late in the game like, yeah, could have told you this. I was like, no, you didn't, though. You know, like, what the hell? Like, you have –
calling out Steve on a Friday.
I'm sorry. I like Steve, but I'm guilty of this, too. I didn't want to be guilty of it here. I didn't want to be the guy who knew something and didn't give it to you.
I was just about to tweet this out.
Michigan State was a 13-point favorite, won by 31. They always win that game, and it's a good one. It's a good one to bet on. Who will be more satisfied? MSU hockey, MSU men's basketball, or MSU women's basketball? I think that's, if you're talking about internally and not the fan base, right? Because that's what you're asking. I think there's a lot still be determined with that, and MSU men's basketball needs to be in a Final Four for that to happen. MSU hockey probably needs less to happen, but needs to be in the NCAA tournament and win a game. And MSU women's basketball needs to get to the tournament. So they're different places. I would say MSU hockey is the most likely because they're really good. Like, if you watch them play, it's not just like, hey, this is a plucky team that's going to get in the tournament. They were a little more of that last year. They were good last year. They're good enough to make a run in the postseason. The way hockey is, where a bounce happens or a hot goalie, we just saw what a hot goalie can do to you when they were facing Michigan Tech in the GLI. I mean, MSU hockey could be in the Frozen Four. That is absolutely a feasible thing that could happen. That's how good this team is, and that's how college hockey breaks. And we're already planning for it at the State Journal. Not that they're going to be there, but like, all right, travel stuff. You know, men's basketball could be playing in the NCAA tournament here if we've got to get to this hockey regional. There's a lot of stuff in play, and I think hockey has a chance to make a run.
C-Dubs up next. What do you think the ceiling is for this 2023-24 MSU women's basketball team?
NCAA tournament, second round is probably it. I mean, they're not overly talented. They're getting the most out of who they are. It was a lot of fun to watch that game against Caitlin Clark the other night, and the way they played. They play an exciting style. Robin Freilich knows what she's doing. They've got a lot of the same players last year, some in new roles, but Joyner's been fantastic in a very different role than a year ago. Yeah, so there are some limitations. They'll run into somebody they can't beat, and they probably won't be high enough seed to avoid that team in the second round. So I would say second round NCAA tournament is probably this year their ceiling.
Next one from D-Dubs. Favorite non-sponsored Lansing area establishment to frequent?
I didn't even. Are there other establishments other than Front 43 and Cask and Company and Midtown Brewing Company? I didn't know
There shouldn't be, but Good Truck and Diner off Washington down by here.
It's great. I love
really
Good Truck and Diner. Yeah. No, there's a lot of places I like. You know how I feel about LS Teco, especially on the west side, right in our neighborhood. There are a lot of. I'm trying to think of the best place that I go to. What's like if you have to take Teresa out on a night? Where are you taking her outside of Ovid?
Oh, well, does St. John's count?
St. John's can count, yeah.
Yeah, we go to Cancun. It's a Mexican
chain place,
bar
right?
and grill.
Yeah.
Is it a chain? I don't know.
Yeah, it
it's
might
good
be
Mexican food, and it's 12 minutes from us. So
I mean, I like Envy here in downtown Lansing. There are lots of really good good places.
Envy, huh?
Yeah,
Sounds fancy.
It's a good date place. Good. There are lots of places. None of them quite Midtown Brewing Company and
of course,
Front 43.
Meat down here.
Meat's
as
great.
well. Holy shit, I haven't been there in a minute.
Lansing's an underrated food place. There's a lot of good food places in Lansing. Like if Jose's Cuban sandwiches are like the best I've ever had anywhere, and it's right in Lansing. And they actually have a Williamston spot too, not far from Groovy Donuts. You could do the Jose's Cuban sandwich Groovy Donuts tandem. I don't know if it's a great taste together, but you could get both and take the donut home for later.
D-Dubs, or no, Sparty Ben, would the alumni zone implode, Breslin, if Steven Izzo hit that three?
It might have.
It would have to.
It would have been something.
You would have heard me from Ovid last night.
The way he walked into that three, it would have been.
I was like, dude, he is confident as fuck right now that it was a little short.
I mean, I was even prepared because I knew he was going to get to play, and I had sort of the outline of my 3 quick takes and what I was writing about, and then I was like, but if he hits one,
just Steven Izzo, send.
Yeah, like
we'll all know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I was gonna have to rework some things.
Sparty Ben, Jason, if you still have it, can you play Chad singing the song that goes "Shake a Tail Feather"? That was always my favorite.
Shake a tail feather. Oh no, I heard them bad boys coming. Can't stop now, gotta continue my running. Yeah, cause we gon' party till the lights come on. And if my song stop, fuck it, cause my mic's still on.
Oh, language. Ooh. All right, there you go. New year, new volleyball dad next. If you didn't know who he was and you were matched up with Indiana State's Robbie Avila for a pickup game, what would your first thought be? Lunch.
I don't underestimate big gumpy white guys because I've seen enough of them.
You guys would just point at each other like that Spider-Man meme. Like, wait a minute. Is this what's in store for me?
I've seen enough of them be skilled. I saw Matt Stainbrook on his first day of practice at Western Michigan. One scholarship offer, 300-pounder out of Cleveland. And they were like, yeah, he's kind of, he lost some weight, but we're probably still going to redshirt him. And then he's hitting like lefty 12-foot jump hooks. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to start him is what you mean. Like, that's not, you never underestimate the, the guy that I look at and go lunch to is when I look at the other team's point guard and he's got his eyes down or he doesn't make his players better. He's real quick, but he doesn't see the game. That's lunch. That's who you beat.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Poor point guard. Have Graham staring at you. New year, new volleyball dad. A Peacock doesn't have video on demand. I have to wait a day to watch the Penn State game? What the fuck?
It's not a full day, but it's a few hours. It's a pain in the ass, no doubt. It used to happen to me after MSU football games were on Peacock, and I'm trying to watch the replay, and I'm, working on a column, and I'm waiting, and finally it comes available. They got to get that fixed. I don't know what's going on there, but if you want to be in the sports streaming game, it needs to be pretty immediate after the game.
But
that's available.
Peacock, though. We're not talking about Big Ten Plus. How do you not have that where you can watch the game? Right away.
No, it's a fair. They should have it, and it feels to me like the Premier League stuff is ready quicker. I could be wrong.
Ryan Schultz next. Madi Sissoko is clearly doing some excellent things for us right now. But is it fair to say that Carson Cooper didn't take the freshman to sophomore jump that we could reasonably expect? And couldn't this be costly against higher-level opponents?
Okay, on Cooper, and I feel partly responsible for the Carson Cooper hype because I've been, and I still think he has a very high ceiling. But there are certain things he's going to have to add to his game. He's a lot stronger than he was last year. He's a lot better. He was unplayable almost at the beginning of last year and became really good as the year went along. And I think sometimes you think that trajectory is just going to continue on a certain pace, and he's going to add this to his game and add that. And what he doesn't have is he's not quite as strong as he needs to eventually be, and he doesn't really have an offensive game like a jump hook or anything he can go to. So I think he's another offseason away from maybe being the player I thought I could be. I don't think it's concerning long term, but there's no question that Michigan State against Zach Edey or against certain opponents at the 5 is still a question. I mean, Sissoko is playing a lot better, but we know his limitations. If he's this aggressive rebounder and player, then that helps. But that does not. The 5 position is not Michigan State's strength and will not be this year.
Next one from Ryan, which is a better Imagine tweet, your favorite. Imagine thinking Trey Holloman wouldn't have an important role on this team, or imagine thinking Carson Cooper had the most NBA potential out of last year's roster.
Okay, two things. These are good. This is really good. I love the I did say that about Holloman. Did I say that about Holloman? I probably did.
Sure.
There's probably the receipts. Holloman has surprised me. He's been really, really good. And I think his trajectory's certainly changed. And this is why development programs are important, and that's still a big deal in college basketball, because Trey Holloman, as a junior and senior, is somebody you absolutely want on your team. And especially when you got other freshmen coming in and Fears coming off an injury. Like, who doesn't want, if you're a Michigan State fan, having the Trey Holloman that's beginning to emerge as a junior and then senior, that only helps the next 2-year teams. And touche on the Cooper thing. Although I'll say this, when you look around at like who has NBA potential on MSU's roster long term, it's not a lot of it. There's a lot of really good college players. I don't know that there's anybody who has a better chance of being an NBA pick by I need to be careful on this because I'm going to leave Carson Cooper alone and let him develop at his own pace.
Andy Schofield next. How long can we expect MSU basketball to look like this? They have looked legit for multiple games in a row. Is this here to stay? And from Jimbo Jones, why did MSU basketball turn things around so fast? What changed?
Some of it was, I think the environment at Baylor against Baylor helped at Detroit at LCA. It was like it felt big, and those guys who had been in those games in the NCAA tournament together, something was jarred. But I also think that came from preparation. That came from A.J. Hoggard sort of waking up. And the other thing is I don't think it was quite as instantaneous as it appears. There were a lot of things about the way they played offensively at Nebraska that weren't bad. And so there were some signs that it was coming on. Nebraska's, looked okay at times. It's not an awful team. A.J. Hoggard had started to play better already. But you've basically seen, and Malik Hall was sick for the Wisconsin game. I'm looking forward to seeing them play Wisconsin again with a healthy Hall and how different that will be. So I think the big thing is Hoggard and is just at another level. That backcourt's been another level. Guys have come on. I mean, Trey Holloman's come on. Malik Hall's come on pretty well. Sissoko's playing better. Akins is playing better. Everybody's playing better. They're shooting well. And
but why is it when they play better and then everybody's like, whoa, yeah, for the people that said Izzo as the game passed him by? But you have to admit they played some really terrible basketball. Right?
No doubt. It was an uninspiring start to the season.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
And it was fun watching that game last night, and I can't wait to watch another game just like that.
And this will be a really interesting week because they're away from home. It won't be the environment that they've enjoyed this entire run in. Like, they're going to face some challenges. And the thing that I think is encouraging for people looking for an answer on how real things are is, when they're playing Indiana State and they get down 5 in the second half, or down 6, I think at one point, whatever it was, 5, I think, and the response there, where I don't think it would have been as good early in the season. And we saw it against James Madison, for example. It wasn't as good. Like they look like a team that's been through some things now, and they a lot of those guys have played, big games last year. But when it happens on the road, do you get rattled? Can you create your own momentum without a crowd? Can you run on the road when a team slows it down on you? When a team starts hitting shots on you, how do you react? I think we start to learn a lot. Now, in the NCAA tournament and the Big Ten tournament, we all know that these are neutral site games, but still there is something to, if you can handle adversity on the road, you can do it anywhere. And that's these next 2 games for me, I'm really curious about.
Next one from Andy Schofield. Any chance we can help Jason and have this segment sponsored by Hooked on Phonics?
Nice.
Andy, congrats on the gift card. Contact Graham. Contact Graham for that gift card. I enjoy that. Jimbo Jones, there were 3 plays in the Alabama game that could have cost Michigan dearly. The opening interception called off, the backwards pass to McCarthy, he barely caught, and the drop punt. Is this a team of destiny?
Yeah, I mean, the drop punt, actually, the way he didn't get blown to smithereens and fumble then, or have it become a safety. I mean, it was actually impressive the way he recovered from the drop punt. I'll give him credit for that, because you would have just seen a steady stream of urine down my leg at that point, and it would have been like, oh, crap, this is not going to – these guys are coming at me, and I'm in trouble. Yeah, I mean, look, Michigan is – they're also a team that I use the phrase sweat equity a lot because I like it. And
Sweating?
well, that too. But like they have a lot of sweat equity. When you've been to the playoff twice and lost, it's an experienced veteran team. One of the things everybody's talking about, look at what Michigan is and look what Washington is and how that matters in the Big Ten. Neither one of these teams is going to be the team they are next year. I think both of these teams are going to take a significant step back. Both are good programs. I'm not saying they're going to be bad teams, but these are really veteran teams. You got 9 6-year dudes on Washington's team, including a quarterback who throws a ball better than 80% of the NFL quarterbacks. And you've got a Michigan team that is hungry, that is disciplined, that is a lot of really good things, even if they're also, there's some, stuff with the program. Obviously, we've talked about with the cheating and smugness that isn't always fun. It's a hell of a team. So I don't know if it's a destiny as much as a team that handles shit well.
But what about when Georgia lost to Alabama on like a fourth? I mean, they should have been playing Georgia, right? And Alabama had to convert a 4th and 70 or whatever for a touchdown, a walk-off game winner. So maybe this team is a team of destiny.
Well, they would have played Washington in the first round if that had happened, because Georgia would have been the 1 seed. So that would have been.
So maybe they would have got Georgia in the championship.
Yeah,
All
right.
Luke Bungie next. What's the risk of Adam Nightingale leaving for an NHL job? No idea what the hockey coach career track looks like, but given success in the U.S. development team stint, seems like a rising star.
I think it's probably small for this reason, and I've covered this situation once before. It's not like basketball where you see that jump, or even football more often. Really successful college coach gets shot in the NFL. It doesn't happen in college all that frequently. In fact, when Jeff Blashill was hired from Western Michigan after a quick rise with them and a great year, he was hired to be an assistant with the Red Wings. He was like the 3rd assistant, and that was a big deal. Even that didn't even happen. Like assistants in the NHL didn't usually come from the college game, and so he had to sort of take it. I don't know if Nightingale would feel that same pressure. I don't know if he'd get that same opportunity. I haven't asked him about that. I think right now this is his alma mater. This is a place that he really wants to elevate. He's having a real good time of it. He's got a great staff that he loves. But that said, I do remember Blashill didn't want to leave Western Michigan either. He had a similar thing going. He had hired 2 guys he really liked. They were all in their mid to late 30s, and one of them is the head coach now at Western. And they all had kids the same age and families. It was like this was going to be a lot of fun. And if he could have done it 5 years later and stayed, he would have. He just didn't know if the opportunity was going to happen again. So I don't know. If something came along, you never know. But I would say it's unlikely just because that doesn't happen in that sport as much.
Sports Guy 1919 next. Jason, I bought Lions playoff tickets too before the Broncos game. What day or time slot do you hope they play in? Saturday night.
Yeah.
And it's somewhat kind of personal because we're going to Mexico on Monday at 5 a.m. So if they play Sunday or in the evening or something, it's still going, but,
It would be rough.
I would like a Saturday. The Denver game, Saturday night, that was fun downtown, man.
It's also big for this show. Because Jason never planned his vacations around this show, nor does his wife. And usually it's like in the middle of March Madness or something like that. But we are going to be off most of a week when he's in Mexico, like during the middle of the playoffs and everything.
Are you saying that we should plan it a little bit better?
No,
I don't know.
Your life is not like it gets to the like for me. I always look at that stuff but my actual job is to be on the road with Michigan State. My wife learns not to plan certain things around. We kind of it's just different. It's 100% cool. But anyway, if the Lions play on Saturday, then we will have a show on that Sunday, an early show. It'll be probably.
Well, I don't know how early if they play Saturday night.
Well, not really early. Michigan State plays at noon in basketball. So that game, it'll be after the Michigan State basketball game, after the Lions. So maybe like a 3 p.m. type show on Sunday.
We have to factor in if I'm going to be alive still.
That too.
So there's that.
I'll bring your corpse out here and we'll do it. So So I'm hoping Saturday night for the sake of the show, for your sake, for the sake of people who want to watch Michigan State and the Lions and. I just hope it's Michigan State. So we would probably do like a 3-4 o'clock show on Sunday if that were to happen, and react to the Lions and MSU and all that stuff. So, by the way, we will not be doing shows that week when Jason's in Mexico.
Sports Guy, 1919. What's the best place at Ford Field to tailgate or pregame? It's kind of tough. Ford Field, it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, you can go regular tailgating or there's bars that you can go to, but we don't really go to those. Yeah, so I don't know what you're looking for.
There's like Old Shillelagh and places like that are
but they're going to be
packed.
hopping.
It's going to be so packed. Yeah, you just people everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not great. Yeah, I mean there is a tailgate scene though there that you can.
Yeah,
it's
if you find the right parking spot. I mean, you can definitely tailgate and have a little bit of fun. That's what I would do. Is just, if it's not too cold, to hang out by your car and tailgate, or if you want to go to a bar and go through the sea of people, more power to you. Cracker Sofa, Jason, what do you need to see this weekend to feel confident the Lions can make it to the NFC Championship weekend? I mean, the defense playing well still. I know it's a lot of a bend, don't break defense the Lions are playing, but you have to admit the Lions, with the personnel they have on defense, they're playing pretty well, and I'd like to see that again. Maybe whoever plays quarterback for Minnesota not have 400 fucking yards. I know there was 4 interceptions, but still, Nick Mullins, it's unbelievable. So that would be about it.
Back to your previous point, too. It's with the Lions, with Ford Field being an indoor venue. What's the stadium open up, an hour and a half before kickoff, something like that for fans?
I think it was over 2 hours last time we went. Yeah.
If it's 2 hours before kickoff, which is a lot, like you're going into an indoor venue that sells beer and has concessions.
Yes.
Like I would be they're
$40 a beer, but
yeah, but you're going to spend a lot. My inclination though would be to like get into the stadium, enjoy being in there. You're warm, you know where your seats are, and just get in there early, have a meal a couple hours before the game, things like that.
Cracker Sofa. Graham, on Tuesday, you said this MSU team is playing like a top 15 team. What more needs to be done to be a top 5 team like originally projected?
Well, some of it is just to keep doing this because it takes the AP voters who don't actually watch the games a while to realize. I mean, the voting's bullshit. They're almost a top 5 team in Bartorvik. They're moving up in Ken Palm. Don't worry about it. I mean, these aren't freaking nimrods, and I love them. They're friends, but they shouldn't have votes. They don't watch enough basketball. Too many of them have young children or happy marriages. You should have neither to have a vote. Like you got to have. And I'm not saying Jack Ebling doesn't have a happy marriage or kids. His kids are grown, but you need to have people like Ebling who love the sport, have a lot of time to watch it. Don't go on the road as much, so they're able to see a lot of games. It just that's who should be voting. It should not be beat writers or people who are covering a game on the road, writing half the night, and then oh shit, I got to do my poll real quick and who won last week. That's not
you're copying off someone's test.
Yeah, right. And it's like, oh, they beat Indiana State. Who's that? Like it's all shit. So don't worry about that. But I think the other thing is they just got to do it on the road, and they're playing like a top 10, top 5 team right now. But we need to see it against the road. We need to see it against really good competition let's see what they do at Illinois, who's still playing pretty well, even though they lost their best player.
Company man next. Does Tyson Walker have an opportunity to be the first transfer at MSU to have his number retired if he's first team All-American and takes his team all the way, or is that blasphemous to Izzo?
No, Walker could definitely be in that. First of all, if Michigan State wins a national title, the calculus for numbers retiring and how this team's, a lot of things are at play. A.J. Hogarth's number is at play. Walker's, if you're the backcourt that leads Michigan State to a national title, how you are remembered is just very, very different. And so Walker for sure. In fact, I would almost guarantee if Walker, first of all, he's played 3 years in Michigan State. If they won a national title, I don't even think they'd have to do that. I think they get to a Final Four, and Walker would be in that conversation for sure.
Jarrett, what's Trey Holloman's ceiling?
It's a good question. I don't think we know. He was a nice player in high school, 4-star kid. I liked his highlights, and he's obviously got some character to him. He hasn't been he's a little unflappable when it comes to guys being recruited over him or that sort of stuff. And he's not like a out of this world athlete, but he's seems to be a really smart player. He's a good shooter, can create his own shot. We're starting to see a little bit. Good defender. Is he an NBA guy potentially? I don't know. I mean, could he develop himself into one? He's not the biggest guy in the world, but I think he's got all Big Ten potential if he has the right trajectory. I wouldn't put that past him.
Jarrett, could you, Jason, and 3 listeners of your choice be able to score 30 points against this MSU team?
I don't know everybody who listens. That's the challenge.
Men or women?
Well, either.
Oh.
I mean, it really matters who we were able to get as listeners. If John Horford, who lives here in Lansing, who played at Michigan, is he listening? I could, then we're good. I know some people are decent players who probably listen. So if we took 3 people slightly better than us, let's just say they're not former D1 players, slightly better than us, could we score 30 points against this MSU team?
Don't pass the ball to me. I'm going Steven Izzo. I'm chucking that fucking thing, so don't pass me the ball.
The answer is no.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Nick next. If you could only have one take for the rest of your life, which would it be? A, college basketball needs 6 fouls. B, MSU fans should be thankful we have basketball when football season sucks. And C, school of choice should be eliminated. Jason, am I missing any? I mean, that's a good solid top 3 right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. If it's about what would come true, then school choice wins in a landslide. I mean, it's not even close. It's like
what's the Magic Johnson donating to Lansing something or other?
Lansing Promise, but that's affiliated with school choice because then it counters that. Yeah, but school choice being eliminated would be. But there's some other fixes that need to be. But yes, that would be number 1. But that doesn't really do well at bars. I've found. Like when I'm having a conversation with people, they get tired of at a party. Graham school choice take. It's like Graham school choice
again.
Take. Yeah, really. So
I follow him on Twitter too. I saw it there and.
Yeah, give me 6 fouls.
Amon-Ra St. Nick. Jason, currently doing dry January. Any tips? All right, does that count? Does weed count in dry January? Can you still do weed? I mean,
weed
I don't
is dry.
Well, I would just smoke weed. It's better. You feel better.
Yeah, to me, it depends on you. Like I'm not drinking right now for this month, and one of the things that helps me not feel guilty about it. Not guilty is the wrong word, but I want my wife to still drink. Like, I don't want her to not drink because of me. That makes me feel like, shit, she's doing it. So, like, on a Friday night, like tonight, we'll still open a bottle of wine. You have it. Like, it doesn't bother me that you drink wine in front of me. Like, just you have it. So it depends on you. What?
So you want her to drink?
I just want her not to change her routine for me, because then I feel like, fuck it, I'll just have some wine too or whatever. That would be one of the things. Yeah, I would. Yeah. Every time I've had success going long stretches without it, like if you go to a gathering or something, just pack up things you like to drink, Coke Zeros or whatever it is that, and things that have good taste that you like, just make sure you have those available.
Kurt Wisniewski, when Michigan loses on Monday, where will Harbaugh be coaching next year? Not the Bears.
Not with Kevin Warren.
Keeping Eberflus.
Yeah, not with Kevin Warren anyway.
How about Washington? I think Bill Simmons said Washington. San Diego's a possibility, right?
Washington right next to Baltimore and his brother. That would be interesting.
But San Diego, you have Herbert.
Yeah.
He's the quarterback whisperer.
Well, not in San Diego, but L.A.
L.A., whatever. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, L.A. would be great. The problem is you don't have any fans. Like, I get that that's a good job, but if you won, would you actually get some fans? I don't know.
It's tough.
I don't know. Yeah.
Kurt. Graham, Jason, with it being a new year and the need to meet fitness goals, would either of or both of you want to run the 25K Amway Riverbank run on May 11th? It's a great mid-year check-in.
No.
Amway? Is that like the Amway?
Yeah.
Amway?
Yeah. No, in Grand Rapids, it's not a 4-letter word, Amway, like it is here.
Oh.
Or everywhere else. The
25K? How far is that?
25K is a long way. It's like, would be, 16 miles-ish or something like that?
No, shit.
Yeah, it's too much. No,
no way.
And I don't even, running's not even good for you. That's the thing. I'm not to say that. That's not right. Because I used
That's
to
usually
run.
what fat people say.
It's true. But even when I'm in shape, like
running's overrated.
Basketball is better cardio. Like they're like it drives me nuts when these fucking doctors will tell me what my BMI is, and they run all week. I'm like, you can't run up and down a basketball court with me for 2 hours. You can run straight line and pound your knees to sand and need a knee replacement when you're 70, but you can't run up and down a court. I mean, that's a different time of physical exertion. It's better for you. I'm sorry, Kurt. I'm just rambling here. But the answer is no. I mean, Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair.
Jeff Peterson next. Penn State game aside, it feels like MSU is playing better defense, less fouls, or has the Big Ten got the message that nobody wants to watch a toot fest?
It does feel like there have been fewer foul play games this year, doesn't it? We'll see if that changes when the Big Ten really gets in. I mean, there have been a few games where Michigan State's taking a lot of free throws, but
when they're in the bonus in the first 12 minutes of a half or something.
It usually bothers me, the fouls in college basketball. Is not this year yet. And
I got to say, I haven't really tweeted out college refs are ass that much.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know.
Maybe they turned over a new league.
They're still ass, but maybe they're getting a little better. Yeah. I don't know. Jeff Peterson, when was the last time MSU turned the ball over because someone caught a pass with a 1 foot out of bounds?
Hasn't happened much this year. I think I can remember once, but it's been, they've been pretty clean on that stuff.
Miller next. In honor of Mahdi's GoFundMe, can you and Jason each recall a time when a loved one showing up to support you changed the outcome of an event? Are you ethically allowed to promote the GoFundMe to get Mahdi's brother to the U.S. to watch him play? If you are also going to write a touching piece when it happens.
So first of all, on the Madi Sissoko thing, a gentleman by the name of Jim Gray out of Kalamazoo, no less, area has arranged a GoFundMe is to help get Madi's brother, who's never seen him play, to the U.S. to watch him play. And also a big part of this, though, is funding for his school to give more to it and help that town.
Can Madi's brother rebound?
Yeah. Well, the other thing
coming over here,
the thing that's a little weird here, and I haven't written more on this, is the school can actually handle some of that stuff with the brother coming over this way. I believe there are ways.
Call Ish.
So
what are we doing? He's got a plane.
So I've tweeted it out a few times. I was aware of it. I didn't really have time to write an article, and I'll keep sharing it. I'm not really in the business of duplicating articles or that other people have written. But ethically, it's fine. It's 100%.
Why wouldn't it be ethical?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a problem. I don't think there's
just a GoFundMe.
Yeah, and look, I think I think the supporting that school is a really great cause. I don't really care if his brother comes to see him play. I think it's a touching story, but I'm not going to give money to do it.
Really?
There's lots of
$10.
Fuck, we got issues in Lansing, man. I got no. Yeah,
Richard Kane. Between Kevin Pagwa, how do you say his name?
Pauga.
Yeah. And Tom Izzo, who has the final say on the schedule. Does Izzo offer suggested opponents?
Kevin arranges it. Izzo certainly would have final say if he said no or whatever, but Kevin does all the work, and he does a lot for the Big Ten. Like, he is a lot for, he is really good at what he does, and he does stuff beyond MSU in terms of scheduling, creating the Big Ten football schedules and basketball schedules. He's a whiz at this stuff. And it's funny because with the Indiana State game, the assistant, I think it was Wojcik, who had the scout for Indiana State, was really unhappy as he started to realize how good Indiana State was. They just told Kevin, "Thanks for ruining my Christmas," because they were really good. And you've got to. But now that they actually won that game, it's going to help MSU. Izzo doesn't think it's all that bad. So, but the answer is Izzo has final say, but Pauga puts together the schedule.
Shep next. Hope you saw the New York Times article last week about NIL. It said that Bama's annual NIL payments work out to $2,500 per player per month. That's about $2.5 million a year total. With MSU's billionaire donors, surely Haller can get a commitment to fund at that level. If he can't, he's not the guy for this program in 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, the numbers that are it's going to be interesting to watch where the numbers go. Billionaires don't want to just throw money away. They don't want to. There's just zero return on investment for these guys, and that's the challenge. Billionaires are billionaires for a reason, and they don't waste a whole lot of money, or they don't tend to. It's not as simple as you think. It's not that you do have to engage these guys. You got to engage the entire donor base. And we'll see. I'm telling you, within a year, I think a lot of this is going to be done in-house in terms of managing it, the NIL collectives, and some of the stuff maybe from the athletic department. We saw the proposal from the NCAA president. I think things are headed in that direction. So a lot is going to change really quick. It's about surviving in the intermediary, and the NIL is going to be a part of that. But it's I don't know if the New York Times is right. Let me tell you this: the New York Times is a fantastic publication. I don't like to shit on them because I know there's a lot of people who do think they're just some liberal rag, whatever. But they got some stuff really wrong in a piece about MSU and NIL with earlier, and with from this is Sparta, the other the other collective, and so there are. They have not been 100% right on their numbers on this subject.
Mr. Neurotic Pants next. Will Michigan's success have a profound impact on MSU's recruiting? I tend to think that it will make in-state recruiting of 4 and 5 stars more difficult, but in other cases, overlooked athletes might welcome the chance to play Michigan in a rivalry game.
Certainly, when Michigan's really good and they're the thing in state, it makes it harder to recruit. Michigan State has a couple things going. One, recruiting visits on MSU's campus are always a win, right? It goes well for athletes like it. And look, it's Malik McDowell's mom didn't want him to go there, but he went on a recruiting visit. He's like, this is where I want to be, right? So that you got some wins there that Michigan won't have probably. But
like what?
I'm not going to get into it.
No.
But Michigan, as long as they're good, it does not help Michigan State. There's no question. I don't know how overlooked athletes. I don't think that's really a thing. You don't want to just be like, hey, good. The overlooked athletes like us. You want to win in state. And now we'll see what happens if Harbaugh leaves, and if things take a little bit of a step back. This is not like a permanent thing for Michigan.
Mr. Neurotic Pants up next. I went to my first Western Michigan hockey game last weekend, an exhibition against Western Ontario. An important question came to mind. Would young Graham have been able to get a scholarship to play basketball at a Canadian university? P.S. Bilbo's, true to form, is still staffed by disorganized, disheveled 20-somethings.
That's most restaurants. Bilbo's is great. Don't shit on Bilbo's. Great place to go.
I think you're shitting on the 20-year-olds.
Yeah, well, most 20-year-olds are disheveled. We were once disheveled 20-year-olds.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, so
capital D.
Like if I had put my order in with you and you were 20, how long would have it taken for me to get it?
Fuck you, old man.
Yeah, that's what you would have said. Yeah, right. So there you go. I would probably. It depends on the school. Probably not gotten a scholarship.
I know what he's saying though.
Yeah,
young people.
By the way, my best basketball was like 31 to 33, so I was too old.
Still play in Canada, I heard. Craig Dodger next. If you could go back in time, pre-D'Antonio, and pick Saban, D'Antonio, or Harbaugh to lead MSU football for 8 to 10 years, who are you taking? I'm taking Harbaugh since the dude wins everywhere he goes. And yes, that's probably has earned me a ticket straight to hell, but F it.
It's a really good question. And there's an argument that you take Harbaugh, and if you go back pre-time, so if you're going back pre-D'Antonio, you're going back pre-NIL, and Harbaugh, the way he won at Stanford makes you think Harbaugh is the answer here. I mean, D'Antonio
over Saban?
Saban was at MSU. It didn't.
Yeah.
I think he was.
The question is, would
you
take 8 to 10 years of Saban? Right?
Yeah, I would. I would take Saban.
Jesus,
Saban's
man.
the answer. Yeah.
I mean, Harbaugh is number 2 for sure, but damn. Aleto next. Based on what MSU has with transfers, possible transfers, players returning, and recruits, is 4 and 8 out of the question year one for Jonathan Smith? Would 4 and 8 be a disappointment? The floor should be 6 and 6.
It's a good question because I don't think we know what the team is right now. They've gotten a number of guys back out of the portal, the offensive line, helpful, defensive backfield. I think there's some reasons to think they can be competitive. A number of receivers are back. So I think 4 and 8 would be a disappointment. But, in year one, it's like anything. And I understand you're not taking over a coach who was fired because he was losing. But there will be a bit of a honeymoon period. And if it's, if they go 5 and 7 because it looks like they're losing some place on the roster that's Mel Tucker's fault, then people will deal with it. I don't think that's the end of the world. But I think if getting into the bowl picture, being at least 6-6, if they're healthy enough at quarterback and there ought to be enough there to get to 6 wins. It's a tough schedule, but I don't really know what they have yet, and there will be a bit of a honeymoon period, regardless.
David Jackson up next. Is MSU football in a stronger or weaker place than it was 2 days before you heard any rumblings about Tucker's personal life?
In hindsight, they're in a better place. You agree?
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean,
before we knew about Tucker on a phone.
Right. And part of it is, you sort of look at it, and I don't know if Tucker was going to survive the contract anyway. And so who knows? But because the other thing is what we didn't know back before they played Washington was just how far away. And Washington, look, the schedule was unfortunate this year. They played the two teams in the national championship game, and Washington made Michigan State's defensive backfield look awful, but they did that to some really good. Washington made Oregon's defensive backfield look awful. Like the pinpoint throws that Penix makes and that those receivers catch, contested balls, like they did that to everybody. And so Michigan State had a little bit of an unfortunate schedule, but still they were a lot less competitive than we thought they'd be. And the program was in a worse shape than I thought it was or should be relative. Like I didn't think they should, but it was a bad team at times this year, and talent-wise there wasn't as much as there should have been. So yeah, a restart, new coach, guy who's proven he can build something, I think is puts him in a better spot.
Next one from David. Is there any chance that 3 Quick Takes is going to have its name changed to 3 Takes when we get around to it?
They get up pretty quick. I would challenge you to find faster 3 takes out there that are of any quality.
Not fast enough for David.
Yeah.
F5.
I have had 2 games in a row. They got to stop turning the Wi-Fi off on me on the court when I'm trying to send, so I've got to go back into the press room and fire everything up. That's not helping me.
You don't have a hotspot?
I mean, I
use like the arena's Wi-Fi. No wonder they're late.
I do.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, a lot of complaining going on.
Tough to upload, though, right? Travis Maynard, have you ever actually fixed anything in post? If so, what could it possibly been? To me, you're perfect. Appreciate you.
I feel like we fixed
Dude,
a couple
it's
things.
weird that you asked this today because I think I might actually have to throw something in post, but we're not going to, though.
Yeah,
this was the closest we were going to get.
Yeah, we'll have to re-listen to the beginning at the end and see if it.
No,
we're just
we
gonna
just let it fly.
Let it go. Okay.
What's going to happen? What are we going to do?
Well,
throw a Band-Aid on it?
We'd have to. Yeah, we'd have to
just
cut
listen.
Yeah,
or don't.
It could be confusing for people. Because I don't even know if it was clear to the people who came in at the beginning of the show that we had started the show with only the YouTube going and not the actual podcast part going, and then had to sort of half-ass redo the open.
Mm-hmm.
And but we probably won't fix that either.
Because the rest of the podcast is perfection.
Well, but yes, but I'm just saying, like,
heaven forbid if
but
there's
people
a
will be
error.
confused. Yeah, right. No,
confused. Are you calling our listeners the R word? Confused. They can't listen and go, okay, there's no open. Now they're talking to me.
That's a massive leap. I did not. No. Yeah.
Oh, Travis Maynard. I love the show. Have you ever? Oh shit. You mentioned Jeremy Fears gives the team something different, and I agree. But say Holloman develops into something special at the point, and it's working. Could you see a world where Fears struggles to fit back in if healthy this year? And then does Trey start at the 2 next year?
Oh, I mean, I don't think Fears is going to play this year, but if he were healthy enough to, his role would be. I mean, because think about who Fears was becoming. He was becoming an asset. Early in the year, he was a freshman figuring it out who had some moments, but the type of games they're going to be in at the end of the year and need to play in, they can't have Jeremy Fears easing himself back in or figuring out. There might be a few minutes here and there off the bench. It would be great. It'd be great for his story if he got to be part of a tournament run and played some spot minutes in both halves. I think you could see that if that did I say Fears or Trey? If Jeremy Fears was somehow able to play in March, and again I don't have a sense of that, but I don't see his role being significant this year. Even if that were to happen, Trey Holloman, I mean Fears I still see as the future at that position, and the way Trey Holloman shoots, you want multiple ball handlers. They have it now with with Walker. Trey has a really good chance to start at the 2 next year with with Akins perhaps on the wing. It could be a really nice backcourt. We'll see. But yeah, Trey Holloman is becoming more and more intriguing by the game.
Michael Warhite next. With the basketball team's improved play, do you have a prediction for the Big Ten record, for their Big Ten record? Are they in the top 5 of the league?
I believe so. I believe they're, unless this isn't, they get hurt or something, they're easily in the top 5. And it's a pretty good top of the league. It's just I don't know what the depth is yet. I mean, there's some teams that I'm intrigued about. Like Minnesota has played well at times. Nebraska has played well at times. I'm waiting to see them in some tougher spots and how good are they really. But yeah, I think this is a top 5 team. Are they a team that wins against decent teams on the road because they're just better than those teams? And really, it comes down to can they beat Purdue and Illinois on the road? And what is Illinois? I still don't know. But they're a top 5 team. If I had to predict their record for the Big Ten right now, I would say they've already lost 2 games, so 13-7. At that point, that means 12-5 the rest of the way. That would be my prediction right now.
Professor, if the situation was reversed in Dallas on Saturday, the ref calls out the wrong number but doesn't throw the flag and the Lions win, what would have been the media and the NFL's response?
Some people would have laughed because it's the Cowboys and screw them.
Yeah.
They're
Stephen A.
They're America's team. Even the
there
way
wouldn't be an uproar.
The way Michigan's America's team. They're not actually America's team. People hate them. They're like the Yankees. But there wouldn't be an uproar. But the NFL might. The NFL might have responded differently. I don't know if Jerry Jones. It happened to Jerry Jones.
There's no apology.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones goes into the office probably. Yeah. Professor, how much would you pay to go to the Super Bowl if the Lions made it?
Would you consider it?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No. It's way too much money. I just can't do it.
And it's not that great an experience unless you got great seats. It would be way up high, and I'd rather
press pass or a backstage, where you can walk around a little bit, sure, but
I'd rather have, my TV at home, my controlled environment, that sort of thing. Maybe a friend.
But if you won a contest or something, of course.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Not paying $15,000 to go?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what probably costs $10,000. Yeah, less than that. You probably get in the building for a couple grand. But
and we can't beat the refs, so why would I pay that much money to not win?
Yeah.
East Lansing Lions. What to do on an 18-hour road trip to Florida? What are the best places to stop while on a road trip? And do you listen to a podcast? Ugh. I haven't done the 18-hour Florida one, but Cody and I did the Wyoming trip twice.
What did you do?
The first time we just told stories like on the way there.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That was pretty much it for.
If it's with a friend that you like talking to, that's great. That's the best. If it's with a spouse, it's a little tougher because you've kind of told each other all your stories, and but
and you can't tell the stories you want to tell,
right?
That are interesting.
So the podcast, we listen to podcasts, occasionally because there are a few we like together, like You're Wrong About and things like that. Really good podcast, but a lot of what we do is Elizabeth will sleep if I'm driving, and I'll listen to satellite radio, listen to Sirius, the soccer channel, and best places to stop. I don't know, to me, it's always about having coffee and
Where do you find that on the road?
Yeah, good gas station's all you need. Rest area. I don't know. Best places to stop. Get a meal in once in a while where you can actually sit down and get out of the car. I would say 18 hours is a lot. If you're doing it in one day, you don't want it.
1 day?
Yeah, do it in 2 days.
Methamphetamines? How do you make it in 1 day?
You've never done it 18 hours in 1 day to Florida? I've done 18 hours. I did it in the back of my buddy Larry's Jeep in 2000. We went down to the Citrus Bowl in 2000. Larry Marasco and another friend in his Jeep, and I was sick as a dog, right? Because my aunt was sick. She came over for Christmas, got me sick. Germaphobe Graham was not happy. Still went on the trip. We stopped in Atlanta, went to an Atlanta Hawks game and all that stuff. But we did it all in 1 day. Went to the dog track down there. On the way back, actually, I got pulled over in rural Georgia, and all I had was a fake ID. because I was not yet 21. I had taken my fake ID to be able to get into the bars in Orlando on New Year's Eve 2000, which worked.
How did you get it?
This was one I got. Which one was this?
Sorry for asking a question.
No, this is one my roommate woke up next to at a party that looked like me. It was a real ID. Jeffrey Eisenacher was his name, Illinois license, but not me. So I've got this one ID. I had an Ontario fake one that had a typo that wasn't as good too. And the cop pulls me over, and I was driving at like 3 a.m., and he gave me two choices. He said, I either have to take you to jail or these guys have to drive the rest of the way. We opted for me not to drive anymore.
Were you hammered?
Was not hammered.
Why did he say that?
No, he just, because you can't have when you have a fake license, you can't even process it. Like you can't even give me a ticket. I don't have a license. I wasn't like, and it was bad. So anyway, that is a story almost worth telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing. I was just there with one of our listeners last week with Josh, and had a fantastic time watching soccer, sharing some conversations. Just a great bar to sit at, great restaurant. If you're looking for a date place this weekend, brunch on Sunday, Midtown Brewing Company, Trivia Tuesdays, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing.
Bo McJunkins next. Why can't Lions fans want more from Hutchinson? Glad he got 3 sacks finally, but before that, it was fair. Instead, I have to be talked down to by Go Blue Baumgartner, telling me it's only because I'm an MSU fan.
Well,
see, the reason why I give him slack is because I am a State fan, and I don't want to seem like I'm just ripping on Hutchinson just to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
but I have played it with kid gloves this year of like, all right, well, the hurries that PFF tells you. You get number 1 in hurries and all that stuff.
He's not going to be a star. He's not dominant. He's going to be a good player. And you think he's a star?
Help. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think he could be.
Okay. Maybe he still could be. I don't know.
Let me see with some help what he can do.
Yeah.
Bo McJunkins, is Michigan the most unlikable team in the country? Constantly celebrating in their opponents' faces, lack of accountability, victimhood.
They're certainly not likable, and I don't think they care because they've sort of embraced that, and
Yeah, but do people across the country care? Like, we're close to it.
That's a good question.
And we know the stench on Michigan fans, right? But if you're like in Pasadena, or
yeah,
I don't know why I picked that.
Yeah, no, but it's a fair point. Like, if you're not really how close are you paying attention?
I can't give you a rational answer because my mind is so clouded with stuff.
Harbaugh's a tough guy to just like at first. He's a weird dude. And he's sort of, they're defiant and yeah, but you're right. If you're not in it, if you don't sort of see the hypocrisy of who they are in certain realms, like with what happened after the tunnel and just the way they played that versus the way they play what's happening when they're accused of something, it is.
What about people that don't watch sports? If you played a Jim Harbaugh presser for them and say, what are your thoughts about this gentleman?
Oh, well,
I would be kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, they would think he was a little off. But that would be a condition he was born with. So that would it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Sorry. I'm saying I'm just saying if you had me watch a Jim Harbaugh press conference, not knowing who the man was, I would just say that. So
that happened from birth, by the way.
Maybe fix that in post if you don't mind.
Oh man, Matt C. The universe can't let those cheating Wolverine scumbags win a national title, right? Karma is a real thing, hopefully, and Michael Penix winning is such a better story.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends who's. For you, it's a better story. A lot of people would see the Michigan story is not a bad one too. Penix is a great story, and Washington's a good story, and certainly
DeBoer is a good story.
Yeah, right. No, it's a good story if Washington wins.
Matt C., did you guys see the Indy Star article on those cheating U of M scumbags? Great piece of work on the corrupt athletic department. That is the type of sports journalism we need in the state of Michigan, not the North Korean level propaganda we get from the Detroit media.
Yeah, I've not read the column yet. It was Greg Doyle in Indy Star, and he really hates Michigan and the way that they've handled this. And you know what? He's paid for his opinions, and
Doyle is out there though.
Yeah, he's going at him.
I love Matt C. though.
Yeah, look,
the best.
if somebody had written that in Michigan, it would have been a ballsy column to write. But you got to write what you actually think too. And like, I would not have written. Like, I think Michigan has done some. I think Michigan has definitely done things that have been cheating. That's why they're under investigation. Jim Harbaugh missed 3 games for it. If he's back, he'll miss 3 to 6 next year. There is no question about it. The thing that, and they've not really admitted it yet. It's like, it's us versus everybody, and yet they obviously did it. And I understand there might not be a huge advantage to what they did, but then why did you do it? And so there's a lot of stuff there. That said, I don't know. I mean, my sense is, and I haven't read the Greg piece, so Doyle piece, but my sense is it's a little. I mean, these are not.
Don't assume before you read it.
This is not like what Aaron Rodgers just, accused Jimmy Kimmel of.
Yeah, but
like
come
that.
on, Kimmel was being a weird. The guy makes fun of Aaron Rodgers all the time, and then he throws a little barb back just because it's what.
I don't know. Pedophilia
Epstein?
is pretty.
Oh my God, it was a freaking joke, dude. Jimmy Kimmel. No, dude. Epstein was not asking Jimmy Kimmel in 2001 when he was a fat guy and he was doing the Man Show. I mean, it's calm down, is what I'm saying, Kimmel.
So that should have been his response. I couldn't get on that island if I wanted to.
Right.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But he likes Bill Clinton still. Mojo Jojo next. Does making the championship game lessen the potential punishment of Harbaugh and Michigan? Doesn't seem like they care anyway with Stallions in attendance. Well, Stallions is banned from every.
Yeah. I mean, Stallions, I don't think they can control him, and he's just a man on a mission in life. Weird dude. Can you imagine, like, actually, you would hire Connor Stallions for certain types of work because he's very effective.
I don't know that manifesto though.
Yeah, he's also.
weird. There's that. That's a red flag.
He also might be the guy comes in and shoots up the office at some point.
Jesus.
I'm just saying, if you write a manifesto,
you're going to shoot up the office.
It's a red flag.
A lot of guys hiding their manifestos.
You should not be able to have a firearm if you've ever written a manifesto. That should be like one of the things we just say in this world. Like, hey, you written a manifesto, you don't get a firearm.
How many words does it take to get to a manifesto?
It's a good question. Because, yeah.
Mojo Jojo. Jason, are you prepared for the new season of Girls 5 Eva to air around the start of March Madness on Netflix?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, that's fine.
Closet Girls 5 Eva fan.
Yeah, deep in the closet. Deeply closeted.
I'm excited.
Jack Hakala next. Redo the spread for the James Madison game. Duke, Arizona, and Wisconsin losses. What's the spread for each, and what are the outcomes?
Well, James Madison's one of like 2 teams still undefeated. So they would have been, if you were to play the game today, Michigan State's playing a lot better, though, so it's also different. Michigan State would be like a 9-point favorite, maybe. I would guess Michigan State Duke would be a pick 'em. Arizona would be a 2.5-point favorite. Michigan State would be favored. I mean, we can see on Ken Palm. Give me some Hoff. They play Wisconsin again. So when Michigan State, Wisconsin's 13 in Ken Palm right now. Michigan State is 17. 2 really good teams. Michigan State is. Ken Palm has them losing by 3 projected on January 26th in Madison. Again, that's 3 points so that's a pick 'em on a neutral floor. What it would be Wisconsin. I think Michigan State's Michigan State would be like -1, something like that.
Jack Hockelop. Also, how much stock can we buy into MSU's past 5 wins?
Oh, and I also didn't answer the end of what would the record be in the outcome. I think they would have beat James Madison. I think they would beat Duke. Arizona, I still like Arizona's team over them, and I think they'd beat Wisconsin on a neutral floor. So give me 3-1 in those games. How much stock? I think you can put a lot of stock. I mean, you got to see it on the road, but it's been 5 straight games, and it's been really good basketball. It's not like
it's a good sign.
Yeah, and I think MSU fans are generally an educated basketball fan base. Like they know what a real 5-game winning streak is versus something where they happen to have won all 5 games where they're not playing that well.
They know ball.
Yeah.
Fart Soup, who knows ball? Who was more infuriating, Edon Ebok or Madi Sissoko?
So I was in Kalamazoo during the Edon Ebok era.
And we need to see some film of Ebok again.
We should see it would be fun to go back and see the Hondo Carpenter feature on Ebach. And
where is that?
Hondo went to Africa to do the
Get
piece.
the fuck out of here. Are you lying?
No.
This is real?
Oh, my God. Do you not know about the Hondo Carpenter goes to Africa to the Edon Ebach story?
If I did, we would be playing it right now. Are you fucking kidding me?
Solari has found this for. I'll have him send it along, because there is a scene where this is when Hondo Carpenter was legitimately the sports director at WLAJ in Lansing, of all things.
Yeah.
And he goes there, and at one point there's a line, and I'm paraphrasing here, where because Ebach, ancestors apparently were slaves, and Carpenter's standing on the banks, and he said, I stood on the banks and hung my head in shame. Something. I mean, just total Hondo. Only Hondo could do this, right? I mean, I'm not saying going to Africa to do a feature on Edon Ebach is a bad idea, but the way Hondo Carpenter executes it is.
I'm just so disappointed. I've known you for this many years. We've done a show, and you've never mentioned this before.
This is the way most
2024.
Most of your prison stories are like this. You come up. I mean, I guarantee in 2024 there will be some other story about you in the shower and how you had to deal with something in the prison. And
there is nothing close to Hondo going to Africa that happened to me.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can get the audio from it and just play it on the show. It would be tremendous. That is a story we're telling.
Goddamn right.
Presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing. If you're thinking about getting a trivia team together, testing your knowledge, no better spot than Midtown Brewing Company. Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock in downtown Lansing at Midtown Brewing Company.
Tim Horton, do you take any advantage of promos or odd boost on sports books, and which promo is your favorite?
I mean, when you do the sign up stuff, I often do. I mean, and they have some good stuff at the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. What I tend to do is, what you don't want to do is get baited into doing something that's not a good bet that you don't believe is going to win just because there's an odds boost. But if I like the bet, or I like what I will take advantage of it. You'd be stupid not to do
but
it.
Be careful when you do sign up for those, like if you're new to the app, because they go, okay, we'll match you up to $1,000. But if you it does tie your money up all into it that people kind of don't realize.
You can't just withdraw the $1,000 after your first bet there, and you can't withdraw their money.
I liked a risk-free bet, so it was like $25 risk-free. Now they do vary where it goes 4 or 5 legs. I wouldn't recommend those, but every once in a while you'll get one that's up to $25 risk-free bet. That way you can go a little looser with the bet, and then if you lose, you get the $25 stake back, and you can have a more conservative kind of bet if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, and a good odds. If there's an odds boost that you really like, every once in a while, I'll see an odds boost where I'm like, oh, that's
but you cap it at like $5.
No, there's an odds boost where they say now it's plus.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of being minus 110, it's now plus.
And stay away from the promoed ones on the so and so. This is his parlay. I hate those.
Oh, where it's like Bill Simmons parlay or whatever.
Yeah.
Although we were looking to do that at one point with Firekeepers, we may still do it at some point. But yeah, it's like,
well, if we did, it'd be great.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah. Tim Horton, is MSU pursuing or expecting to sign anyone else in February? What position is needed most?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Smith said it is bluntly. I mean, yeah, that they're going to keep continuing. It won't be as many guys as December, but they only had 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks really to put together a roster. They're going to continue to recruit. I would guess they will sign a handful of guys in February. The position that's needed most, I still think, you're talking transfers and freshmen, playmakers anywhere, playmakers at receiver, perhaps. Offensive line. Can never have enough, although they're doing a pretty good job of that. Defense on the line of scrimmage and playmakers is where it's needed.
Fart Soup, what's the best bet you've ever accidentally made? I was sitting on a slot machine watching the Lions play when I heard the machine go crazy. Excuse me. Apparently, I had my thumb resting on the $5 bet button, ended up winning $300.
That's a hell of an accident. I like it. What's your favorite accident?
What were you taking, Fart Soup, to make you? Were you just resting your thumb and not knowing it though?
Well, like you're watching an exciting Lions play, like late in the game. And
I see. Right, he was sorry.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's the end of the show. I'm ready to go. Sean Cowan.
No, hold on. What's the question was? Roll over.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
To me, I've definitely, and I've done this has gone both ways. To me, it's in sports betting where I think I've won the bet, but I accidentally bet the other side. That's the worst. And so you the whole day you're feeling great, and then you're like, I won the
and
best.
In your mind, you're like, did I make the right bet? Yeah. And you go log in. It takes 9 minutes and 4 verifications, and then finally you get to it. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. No, the best one though is when you think you accidentally did the wrong one, and you win it, and it's really 50-50.
Sean Cowan, with the continued Florida State temper tantrum, lawsuits, and absolute trashing of their peer schools, would the Big Ten ever want them as a member?
I don't think the Big Ten would want Florida State. I just don't think they're – I'm not saying they're not Big Ten material. It's just not that – if they were looking to get into Florida – I mean, the whole conference thing is going to get weird as it is, and the travel is going to get bad. You're always already going way out west. The only team really south that I think they'd want – would have wanted was Texas and maybe like North Carolina now, something like that. But that's I don't see Florida State is somebody that the Big Ten would want. Who knows how this is all going to shape out and whether the Big Ten as a brand will have any meaning anyway in a few years at this point.
Sean Cohen with this one. Why does Sheila Ford not go public the way that the carnival barker in Dallas would when he feels the Cowboys were wronged?
Do you wish she had stepped up? And said, no,
no, absolutely not.
It doesn't help you.
I wouldn't want Jerry Jones kind of doing it either. I mean, he has his hands way too deep into the general manager stuff, and you don't want that owner for any of your favorite sports franchises, or else you end up with Tom Gores giving you fucking rotations.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be excited. No, I'm glad that she doesn't say. Throw Rod Wood out there. Why don't you? Jesus. Gerald, B17 next. Graham. Can you explain the difference between the college football playoff and the NCAA? Does the NCAA have power to vacate a national title? My understanding is they don't.
Yeah, I don't believe they do either. I mean, they don't. The NCAA tournament, for example, is run by the NCAA. That's their big moneymaker. The college football playoff is not. They don't.
I was told by my Michigan friend Jordan that he let me know.
Did he?
Yes.
That they can't do it?
Yes. He said, I want, as a fan of the show or whatever he said, I just want both of you to know it cannot be vacated.
Yeah, I don't know to what, they can't vacate the national title, I don't believe. I don't know what sort of punishments, because Michigan is still an NCAA member, so there's still things that could happen within that to them, but I don't think the actual national title.
If they win it, they win it. It's not, correct, if they take it away, you did it on the field. Who cares? DMB. What did Bruce Feldman?
No, we still got one more, Gerald.
God damn it, Gerald. I'm sorry. Graham, Goff is 1,000 times better than Purdy. Any quarterback looks good in a Kyle Shanahan offense. Goff would light it up with their play-action game. Goff was the number one pick. Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. If they flipped situations, the Lions would definitely be on the clock right now.
Yeah, but if you redid those drafts, Purdy's a first-round pick and Goff is barely a first-round.
And why did the Rams trade Goff?
Yeah.
And then win a Super Bowl the next year?
Yeah, it's not he's not 1,000 times better than Purdy. 100 times? 100 times. No, he's just 1,000 here.
I know, I'm just saying. How about 100?
Yeah, he's not better than Purdy, I don't think. Because he doesn't have a difference-making arm to do it. He has an okay arm, but, when you watch, Stafford throw the ball, you go, oh, that's
I cry.
Yeah.
Thing of beauty.
Yeah.
DMB. What did Bruce Feldman ever do to you, Couch?
Bruce, personally, and I have had a good relationship. We had him on the show.
Are you guys Twitter beefing? I mean,
no.
I got to talk to Elon because I don't see any of you or Chad Latt's tweets. I don't see any of them or something. I don't know what's happening.
We are going to have to look at, if Elon's going to go ahead and truly do a thing where he charges for Twitter, and we'll see if he actually does this, we are going to have to figure some stuff out, because I think we're going to lose a lot of our listeners who interact with us that way. And so
we're going to have to go through emails.
Well, we'll figure out some.
Fire up the Hotmail.
AOL.
Yep.
So we will see. He didn't. My issue with Feldman was strictly on the way he handled the coaching search at Michigan State. His language, and he wasn't the only one, but his language during the earliest stages of the coaching search about who was a candidate and who Michigan State was involved with was bullshit. It was misleading. There were no candidates. It was clearly agent-driven, and I hate when national guys whose jobs are to break news, so I understand it, carry water for agents, because that's part of the role. I would never want it. I mean, I would suck to sleep at night. You make a lot of money, but what the hell kind of life is that? I don't. If you're constantly carrying water for people, I just don't understand why that's. Why not just do something else? I'd rather.
How do you sleep in your $1 million home?
Right. How does
that work?
Yeah, right.
On the floor? DMB Couch, if Tony Paul could so easily get his story out on Weiss, then why hasn't he? Maybe you can get out of your tattoo bet by donating to a Lansing charity of your choosing. Maybe.
I didn't say easily. I mean, there's been some reporting, but yeah, no, it's. I don't have an answer for you, but I don't look into it that often. I just saw Tony last night. I know he's got some things. He's got a lot on his plate right now, even some family stuff. But Tony is a guy who I really trust as a reporter. He is not going to
he's a pit bull.
Cower to anybody. And so if there's a story to chase out there, he will do it.
Hans Jurgen. I had a box of dots, apple pie, and ice cream and chips and salsa all in one day. An example of the gluttony or greatness of America.
Depends on your triglyceride levels, I guess. I would.
You're going to have a heart attack, but still, it was great getting there, right?
That's a fun day. You throw in some groovy donuts, man, we're rocking.
Yeah. Hans. Jason, who would win in a game of one-on-one between Graham and Steven Izzo?
Probably should have led the show.
I got to say, that's a tough one. Like, up to what? What up to what? 10 or
11,
something?
yeah.
11? I got to, oh, man. I don't know, dude. I guess I would say Graham because he's bigger and he's just going to back him down or something. Would that be your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, prime me would mop the floor with him. But
you make it so easy for you to root for you.
But
oh, yeah, back in my prime?
Yeah, I'm like,
fuck it. Steven Izzo.
I'm like the Wolverines here. No, I would take myself just because of my size.
If you next one from Hans, if you could get 6 more inches anywhere, would you use it to try to become an NBA star or a porn star?
What's your answer here?
I don't think anyone's looking for a porn star with an 8-inch dick. Jake Hawkins.
So,
I don't know.
But here's what I'd want if you. No,
but then you have to be on TV and be a porn star. Just because you have 6 more inches doesn't mean the rest of it looks great.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to be in porn.
I would if I looked good.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants me in porn.
No.
The NBA star thing. The problem is I'd only be 6'8", and with my wingspan, I'd probably only have a 6'7" wingspan. I'd still be like a mid-major guy.
And I disagree. People would. I don't think that they would enjoy it, but they would love to watch you in porn.
Really? Love's a strong word.
Not as good as Hondo in Africa, but holy shit. Jake Hawkins, what needs to happen Sunday to finally stash the Boo Booey Dragon and Northwestern?
Keep playing how they're playing. I mean, Boo Booey's an excellent player. Northwestern's good. They're not great, but defend like you're defending at the perimeter. And, I mean, they've got more guys to throw at him. Northwestern, Ty Berry's decent guard. They've got it's an okay roster. It's an NCAA tournament team, but I think, but just be the team you are. You're better than Northwestern, so just be the team you've been for 5 straight games.
Next one from Hawk. What do you think is the most overrated New Year's resolution ever? Well, it's got to be the workout thing, right?
I mean, if you actually stick to it, it's good, though.
Yeah, but the percentages, it's like 90% of people end up falling out. It's like, well, get the fuck out of my gym then.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There should be a separate zone for those people. You
be
should
like
have,
me and not go, but pay.
Yeah.
Pay $35 a month for 12 months and never go.
Yeah, I think the most overrated is probably the one where, like, I'm going to sort of change my character because your character is who you are. I mean,
but it's not a bad thing to change
true.
something like that, though,
If you're an ass, too.
Yeah. I've had to do that, not on New Year's, but Upper Deck Jerk Guy, 2 questions. How do you feel treating the guy who built your podcast with all the best questions this way? I can believe you obnubilate.
It means
obnubilate my
darken
contribution.
or dim my contribution. Yeah.
I can believe you dim my contribution this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we apologize. And Upper Deck Jerk Guy, you know you're a made man. If you put 3 or 4 in here, we get them in.
All right, last one from the Jerk Guy. What food gives you the worst gas?
Cracklin Oat Brand by far.
Jesus, that was quick. You had that on deck, like ready to go.
Yeah, I saw the question. It's so good, but it's so wrong. Fiber overall is just overrated. That's overrated. Nobody needs that.
All right.
We appreciate all of you. Jesus, fix that post. Maybe cut the end of the way we cut the beginning. We appreciate all of you producing our show. We appreciate Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. Bet the games we're betting. We appreciate Midtown Brewing Company. Go to midtownbrewing.net. Check out their menu and their drink selection. Just a fantastic place for just about any occasion. We will be back on Tuesday after the national championship game. We should be back after the Michigan State game Sunday night, Michigan game Monday night. Be a lot to talk about. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Room.